I'd like to welcome everybody to the workforce development session. We are getting started here at 1:45 or 1:45. We have a lively discussion. Many facets of workforce development are represented here on our panel today. I'll introduce each of them shortly. I want to remind everybody that the chat is open for general discussion. Please feel free to type in some words and say hi to everybody or say hi to somebody. If you have any questions for the panel, please use the Q&A box. That is the button on the bottom of your screen. And we will be addressing questions following the presentations. So, my name is Mike Troge. I am a board member with MTERA and energy consultant for Oneida Nation. And I will provide introductions here right now. This is, first off, is Robert Blake. This is the order that they will be presenting. Robert Blake is the owner of Solar Bear, a solar installation company in Minneapolis. He is also executive director of Native Sun Community Power Development, a nonprofit in Minneapolis. Jenny Brinker is the instructor of the Energy Management Technology Program at Northeast Wisconsin Technical College in Northeast Wisconsin. Rebecca Edler is acting director of the Sustainable Development Institute at the College of Menominee Nation. Deborah Downs is instructor and administrator of technical education in the trades program at the College of Menominee Nation. Ellen Barlas is with Midwest Renewable Energy Association, Midwest Renewable Energy Association, and manages the Solar Ready Wisconsin program. Nick Matthes is also with Midwest Renewable Energy Association. He is a NABCEP certified PV installer, Wisconsin master electrician, and a commercial electrical inspector. Jeremy Mortl is president of Heating the Midwest and president of Messersmith Manufacturing based in Bark River, Michigan. So welcome to all of our panelists. Welcome to our attendees. Robert, please take it away.
Ani bonjour, everyone. Miigwech Mike and MTERA, thank you allowing me to be able to be a part of this wonderful panel. You know, I just want to say too that, you know, we are in just an opportunity and in just an incredible time right now. Just the amount of jobs and opportunity that's going to come down the line here, not only for our states, but for our tribal nations. And this is a really exciting time. $8 billion is going to be put into transmission lines. I want to let you all know, I mean, it's about 5 years to get a lineman trained up. You know, master electricians about 5 years. Another is 2.3 million in infrastructure coming down the road here from the feds. And there's been a real commitment to tribal nations around the infrastructure plan. And I just want to talk a little bit about Minnesota now. Minnesota had 130,000 people that were unemployed in February. The Blue-Green Alliance estimates that by investing in our infrastructure, we could create 114,000 jobs a year. You know, how do we do this, right? We have about 500,000 homes that need to be weatherized. The Clean Energy Resource Team out of the University of Minnesota estimates that will take 291 years to do so. So, I mean, we're talking jobs here, people. The low-hanging fruit is obviously energy efficiency, renewable energy. We need to get on this. And I would really encourage the tribal nations to really look at the Just Transition Planning Matrix. You can go ahead and Google this and it will pop up, but it's a wonderful kind of guide to basically how do we approach creating jobs and opportunities, workforce development. I think it's a wonderful matrix that that everyone can just pull up off of Google and take a look at. The other part about this is we have to get our kids, we have to get our youth involved at an early age. We just had a meeting here in at the Governor's Workforce Development Board in Minnesota this morning, and we were listening to some statistics, and we're losing these kids around their sophomore year of high school. So we got to double down back on shop classes. We got to double down back on creating opportunities for our youth and for our kids so that they'll be interested in job careers moving forward. But the last thing I just want to say is that this is just, I've never seen anything like this before in my lifetime. And I just hope that Native Nations just really double down on workforce development. And you're going to hear some great presentations here about the different steps and that we can move forward with. So miigwech, everyone. And thank you, Mike and MTERA for having me.
Thank you, Robert. Jenny, you're up.
Okay, thank you. You should be able to see my screen now. And amazing statistics to kick us off, Robert. Very good. I'm just going to start off by saying I'm in Green Bay, Wisconsin on the Northeast Wisconsin Technical College campus. And starting in June, we will be adding a long overdue statement to all of our course syllabi. And I would like to also just to give this land acknowledgement right now. Our college's Green Bay campus is located on sacred historical lands ceded from the Menominee tribe and Oneida Nation. And I'm coming to the panel today. Thanks, Mike, for inviting me to talk to you about the college's efforts to meet the needs for those numerous jobs that Robert just talked to us about. And, our Great Lakes Energy Education Center is just one of many colleges in the Midwest that have programs, and we will be hearing from other colleges on this panel. I also just want to give a plug to another couple of panelists, the MREA with Nick and Ellen, who have pulled together all of the colleges you see listed that are in Wisconsin, as well as Iowa and Illinois, and I understand more may be joining the Solar Corps partners. And, when I was asked to give this presentation on behalf of Midwest colleges, I thought of the Solar Corps right away. And I encourage you as participants to type in maybe other Midwest college names and programs with clean energy programs, because I'm just going to highlight what we're doing here in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Robert did a great job talking about the number of jobs and weatherization, talking about the electrical grid. Here's another list of jobs that were being called for just a couple of months ago in Northeast Wisconsin. A lot of the job titles you see here are probably jobs available in your areas as well. Clean energy jobs include those such as installing building automation controls, managing and implementing resilience programs, of course, selling and installing solar. And I'll throw a few more statistics at you to add to Robert's. Wisconsin is home to 76,000 clean energy jobs right now. And Renew Wisconsin, a nonprofit here, estimates that to meet the solar, wind, electric vehicle needs, that workforce needs to gain over 250,000 jobs just in Wisconsin. So we are gearing up to meet those needs. Students at Northeast Wisconsin Technical College can take a couple of different programs and certificates. We have 2-year associate's degrees and also certificates in energy management and solar. And I just wanted to highlight that for both of these programs, we incorporate service learning projects, and Oneida and Menominee have graciously connected us to energy audit projects on a few of their buildings. Students have also conducted solar help in terms of servicing and diagnosing some issues on some buildings. And beyond work with the Oneida and Menominee, we have done energy audits and service learning at state parks, church, an independent living facility, as well as a nature center. So when our students go through these programs, we really want to give them real life client experience and, hey, encounter those real life niche issues that tend to pop up with every project. There's something unique. I also want to highlight that your campus, if you're coming to us from a college, can also be used as a living lab, as a resource. Our facilities staff has been amazing, and they have allowed us to learn from our campus. Our students tour and learn from the mechanical equipment, from the variety of buildings that we have. Our Great Lakes Energy Education Center, please come and visit us, has variable refrigerant flow, geothermal, and you can see students adding even more solar to this building that students had input on from day one in terms of designing and implementing a net zero energy status, which we are very close to. And just this semester, my students have calculated things like how behavioral changes, like shutting interior doors when the garage doors are open, can save us thousands of kilowatt hours and comfort. You know, students are also doing studies on the various types of solar arrays that we have on campus, just to see ways that we can optimize how solar can be used to get us to net zero. And if you just take an internet search of the Great Lakes Energy Education Center, you should be able to find a link to a virtual tour if you're so interested. Again, we're on the path, basically producing more solar than the electricity that we buy from the grid and consume. And lastly, I'm going to wrap up with more coordination. It's really nice to get to know a lot of you through MTERA and through this panel discussion. And if we could continue to stay networked, you are invited to join our Utility and Energy Coordination Network, which allows us to meet these workforce needs from utility grids down to weatherizing homes. I encourage you to check out the education opportunities that we will continue to be posting, including those that you may have to share, by checking out the website nwtc.edu/energy network, which is our National Science Foundation funded network that just kicked off in the last few months. So I look forward to any questions you may have about NWTC and other technical college work. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jenny. And we will be addressing questions at the end of all of the presentations. Please welcome Rebecca Edler.
Had to unmute first. Okay, so thank you, MTERA, for inviting us. I'm going to just talk a little bit about the College of Menominee Nation and what we're doing here. So first I wanted to...
Rebecca, are you sharing your screen?
Yes, you can't see it?
I'm not seeing it right now.
Okay, hang on here.
Is it down the bottom? There you go.
Okay. We good?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry about that. So I just want to talk a little bit first about who we are. We're College of Menominee Nation. And if you just want to see on the slide, this slide on or the map on the left indicates our Menominee treaty lands. And we are now, the Menominee Nation is the little yellow spot in the state of Wisconsin that you're seeing. This here is actually the Sustainable Development Institute. We are located on the very south end of campus. So we are part of the College of Menominee Nation, and our work goes hand in hand. We do some of the research when it comes to exploring the solar opportunities and other alternative energy resources. And what shaped the Sustainable Development Institute? So the Institute was actually founded along with the College of Menominee Nation. That was back in 1993. And our work focuses and is built around the Menominee ways of thinking about sustainability. So as we move forward with our energy projects, we always are thinking in the context or through a native lens. Our work includes our staff, faculty, researchers, scientists, community members, and of course, our students. So we have several areas that we do focus on. This is at the Institute, and I think Deb Downs will talk a little bit when I'm done about what they do over at in the technical education department. But our work here really centers around these 5 areas. So climate change and forest research, food sovereignty and sustainable agriculture, campus sustainability, which includes things like our greenhouse gas inventories to composting. So we really have an array of different areas that we work in the areas of campus sustainability. We also are exploring our alternative energy uses. We currently have a Vista worker who we've been working with, who has been able to move us forward, I would say, in leaps and bounds, just because we now have that person. We're coming from a tribal college. We often are, as they say, wear many hats. We're pulled in a lot of different directions. So it's really was a blessing to have our Vista worker with us this year. And we also have a program called our Student Enrichment Program, which really I'm happy about because it focuses on our students and helping them to develop into these careers that are going to be needed in the future. So I just want to touch a bit about the Menominee theoretical model of sustainability, because this is the framework from which we work. So as we're making decisions and moving forward, we do use this model. And if you can see, it's a 6-dimensional model, bringing in the areas of land and sovereignty, which is unique because in most sustainability models, you do not have that area. So we have land and sovereignty, natural resources. Moving around the model is institutions, technology, and economics. And then, of course, we have human behaviors and perceptions. And in the center of this model is autochthony. And because we work from this place, it's the Menominee autochthony, which means coming from this place or seeing things from this place. And for us, the model of sustainability represents maintaining that balance and reconciling tensions that occur between these dimensions. And this model is intergenerational, and it's always evolving. So again, I wanted to share this because this is the model that we here at the College of Menominee Nation, it's our foundation, and it's a model that's taught to all of our students as they go through our programs here. So I just want to mention quickly, we have some energy projects, some of which are older and some which are newer. So we do have 2 geothermal units on campus. We have a biomass unit that we use for teaching and demonstrating. We do have 2 solar installs. We have green space, which we like to promote our green space. Again, we do an annual greenhouse gas inventory, But we do have students that are involved in gathering the data and working with the inventory. And we do have additional research that can be in any areas from the climate change to energy and these type of areas. So some of our student opportunities that we have here, we do have undergraduate internships, we have student worker positions, work study students, youth workers, and those can be high school, middle school kids that will come in and work alongside of some of our interns that are at the college level. We have grad students, postdoctoral research, and we also have a program that we run every summer that's specifically just for high school students. And they are linked together. Some of the students that are at the Menominee High School in their solar program that Jenny worked with, they also work with us as well. So now I'm going to turn it over to Debbie, who's going to talk a little bit more about what is happening over in the technical ed department.
Hi, thanks, Becky. My name is Debbie, and I am heading up the technical education portion of the College of Menominee. I'm currently housed in the trades building. So we have a building that offers CNC and electricity and sustainable building and welding. So there's a lot of machinery here. There's a lot of, things going on that are loud and noisy, and we're pulling a lot of electricity. Well, we are one of the solar installs on campus. And for the past 6 years, all of our electricity has been received from the solar panels that are installed. So, and it's not just the a regular administrative building with your computers and your labs and your whatever. These things pull some big electricity. So we're very proud of the fact that, the Menominee people were sustainable before that was a coin word. And as a tribal college and a land grant institute, we seek to continue that through all of the programs we have. And sustainability is one of our core requirements. So all of our students receive information, and it's a 3-credit class that they go through on sustainability. And again, building on the Menominee theoretical model. We have some dedicated courses that are getting even more evolution right now in solar energy and dealing with different companies that will come in to talk about job possibilities, what they need to learn, and working with other, just other, what do I want to say here? Advancing more what we can do in our community. A lot of projects happen within the community, and we're looking to be able to do more solar installs on the reservation itself. And that's that.
So thank you. I'm going to stop sharing now.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca and Deborah. Very interesting. I'd like to now introduce Ellen Barlas with MREA, and Nick Matthes. Sorry, Nick.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ellen Barlas, and I am the Solar Workforce Manager for the MREA. Thank you, MTERA, for inviting us today. And I'm going to talk to you about a specific project that the MREA is doing called the Solar Core. This is a 3-year-long project. We're going to finish the second of the 3 years on Friday. So MJ, you can change the slide. The Solar Core project is funded through the U.S. Department of Energy. And we started our first year with 4 technical colleges in Wisconsin back in 2019, Chippewa Valley over in Eau Claire, Madison College in Madison, Mid-State in central Wisconsin, and Northeast Wisconsin Technical College, where Jenny comes from. And we have now added an additional 2 colleges in Illinois, 2 in Iowa, and 2 more Wisconsin technical colleges. We're expecting to add 4 to 6 more this year. So what we do in the Solar Corps is we provide an opportunity for collaboration among 2-year colleges who are doing some form of solar or renewable energy training. Okay, we can change the slide. And this is just a map to show you kind of the geographical dispersion of the colleges. We basically are interested in adding anybody who wants to come on board and collaborate and share with us. The MREA's main focus in the world is solar training. And so we are providing resources to all of these colleges and also providing the colleges an opportunity to share with each other, which is kind of the best part of it. We can change the slide. So the Solar Corps, the nuts and bolts of it. And by the way, this photo is a photo of a student at NWTC working on a solar flare in one of their solar classes. Anyway, we've built an internship program that is designed to give students and new graduates of all of these programs the opportunity to do real world work experience. We've built a network of solar contractors all over the Midwest that are willing to provide students with those opportunities. We've had about 24 students go through internships already, and we're expecting that to grow. It gives the students an opportunity to work with real life experiences. And by the way, not all of the internships have been in installation. We've had students do marketing, we've had students do all kinds of research. And that's kind of an important part of the Solar Corps, is that, you know, people immediately assume that this is all about being up on a roof, installing panels, and that really isn't the case. We've given students the opportunity to kind of grow in a direction that interests them, and we're pretty proud of that. As I said, the Solar Corps provides an avenue for collaboration for all of the technical and community colleges that have joined us. And that means curriculum sharing. It means we have schools who don't even have solar programs but want to, and they're sharing resources with schools who have fully developed programs. And I think that that's been really important, because it means that we're not reinventing the wheel, and gives them an opportunity to get started more quickly and also learn from the experiences of schools that have built programs. And then the MREA is also providing continuing education and advanced training, not only to students, but to their instructors. So in a minute, Nick Matthes is going to talk to you a little bit about the Solar Plus Storage Lab that the MREA has built on our campus in Custer. You know, battery storage is a hot item in the solar industry right now. And through this collaboration, we are able to provide schools kind of a jump start on that technology so that they can start incorporating it into their curriculum. We can change the slide. And last but not least of my part of this is the development of our new website called solarenergy.jobs. This is definitely the jewel in the Solar Corps crown. We launched the website in November, right at the end of November, and it is truly a Midwest Solar Career Resource Center. We have all kinds of information about career maps and training programs all over the Midwest, ours, of course, and then each one of the colleges that has joined us has a link back to their training programs. We are doing a virtual continuing education program every Friday. This is really, it's a central resource for all things career related in the solar industry. And last but not least, we have an interactive job board that we invite anybody to use to post jobs in solar and renewable energy. And so what we're hoping is that as this last year comes and goes with the Solar Ready grant, that we can perpetuate this on into the future. And we're really hoping that the Solar Corps continues and that the Resource Center just grows and kind of becomes the central hub. And that's the end of mine. And I think Nick is going to talk now.
Well, great. Thanks, Ellen. Yeah, so on the next slide here, you'll see kind of give a touch on the training that we do. And I want to hit upon Ellen's point of collaboration also here. But I'll hit that in 1 second. So thanks for the great overview of the Solar Corps there, Ellen. But yeah, so this is a picture of our solar and Solar Plus Storage Tech Center that we're building here at our campus in central Wisconsin. And you're able to see we've got a few different of the newest lithium-based energy storage technologies. And so we have that for training contractors and many contractors, tech colleges, consumers. And so this picture shows actually some of Jenny Brinker's class from NWTC made the trip over, and we dissected one of the energy storage systems, and looking at what I'm holding in my hand there on the right hand side is one small lithium ion cell. We're talking about how that lithium ion cell is the building block for these systems. We get 351 of those put into one of those battery modules sitting on the ground, and then we put 3 to 6 of those together to build a system. So anyways, what we do with our training, we do training for technical college training programs, contractor training, installer training, that's for current and aspiring renewable energy workers, and consumer education programs. And so we kind of cast a broad net so that we have a level of depth to our curriculum that can help satisfy people that are pretty technically proficient with solar electric and just want to get more in-depth training, or people that have never even seen an energy storage system or a lithium ion battery cell or a solar panel for that matter. So then on the next slide here, we talk a bit more about some of the different technologies that we're working with here. And so we've got one of our things that we're doing at the campus here is providing training on some of the most current technologies and the technical advancements in the industry. The solar industry has been growing quite incredibly over the last 10 years. The innovation has just been incredible. And here in this photo, you'll see Jenny's students again from NWTC. We're looking at a bifacial solar module. You can see the sunlight hitting the ground through the shadow of the solar panel there. And so that's one of the newer technologies that's only become readily available in the last year or so. And so we like to get as much hands-on experience and get people working with these different technologies and becoming familiar with them. Then on the next slide, we're going to show some more of the different technologies. And this was some of the stuff I referenced in our earlier slide. So here, this shows our energy tech center that we're building, our energy storage system tech center, rather, and showing a few different lithium ion based energy storage systems. And so you've got the big cabinets, those are holding the batteries. The smaller boxes are the inverters that are controlling the solar from the solar power and managing the interface between the batteries, the solar, and the utility grid. And then in the middle is a very interesting, unique aspect to the our lab here is the SPAN smart breaker panel. So we're able to demonstrate some of the newest innovations in energy management and smart load management technologies out there. And then the next picture, I believe I show us a little better view of that SPAN smart breaker panel. So on the right hand side, you can see that it's kind of the guts of your normal breaker panel, but then with a bunch of sensitive electronics put in there. So what we have with our lab here is a place for people to come and understand what's actually happening with some of these technologies that are doing just incredible, incredibly sophisticated load management functions, and all controllable from your phone or from your laptop. And so we give people the opportunity to see inside of there and see what all the different components are. And so again, I want to touch back on the spirit of collaboration that Ellen was referencing with the Solar Core. So we're able to provide or share curriculum and resources in that regards, but also we've developed our own solar training labs, like a mobile lab that we have written up a full bill of material, and we'll provide that to any of our training partners, any of our tech college partners that are looking for a comprehensive but digestible training package for solar components. And then if people want to source them themselves, all the components, that's fine. Otherwise, we're more than happy to help people procure the different components. Okay, and then on the next slide here, I want to talk a little bit more about some of other work we've been doing with the Solar Core. And part of that has been focusing on the just energy transition. So making sure that as we make this energy transition into a more sustainable, renewable vision, that everybody's being involved, that it's more equitable, and that there aren't people trying to hit the communities that have traditionally not had access to as much resources with training or deployment of solar energy. And so it started in the winter of 2020, and then going into the spring of 2021, we completed the fundraising to offer solar training and assistance with job placement for 30 people from traditionally underserved communities throughout the Midwest. We had Indianapolis, Milwaukee, Minneapolis, and Detroit that we're actually going to be doing our training in-person lab with them this weekend. And so, yeah, that's a good overview of what Ellen and I and the rest of the team here have been up to. Yeah, trying to, we've been doing solar training for a long time. I personally have been working with solar since 2006, and I've been instructing on it since I think it was 2008 or 9. And so we love, one of the goals here is to just assist other people. We provide training, but also want to assist any other people providing training in helping them develop and proliferate their solar curriculum. And so, yeah, I think that's all I have here. MJ, I don't believe I have another slide there, but if anybody has any questions, feel free. Sounds like we got time for Q&A at the end here. And I think we've got, was it Jeremy next, right?
Yeah, one more presentation. Thank you, Alan. Thank you, Nick. Great stuff at MREA. Before I do bring Jeremy on, I just want to make a quick note that it's interesting to know that MTERA actually got its start following a Heating the Midwest conference back in 2014. So Oneida Nation hosted the Heating the Midwest conference. Heating the Midwest, essentially a bioenergy advocacy organization. Jeremy will go into that a little bit more. But we hosted the conference here in Oneida, and that's a conference I think you have every year or every other year. I can't remember what your schedule is now, but that was the original start of MTERA. A number of tribes showed up for that conference, and we got together following the conference and had a meeting, and that was our inaugural first meeting for MTERA. So that was in 2014. Jake. Anyways, okay, sorry. It's a dig on Jake. So Jeremy Mortl, Heating the Midwest. Thank you very much. Please welcome Jeremy.
Perfect. Thank you, Mike. So yeah, I'll discuss a little bit about the Heating the Midwest organization, as well as just biomass heating in general, specifically on the Midwest area. So the Heating the Midwest organization has been around for many years. As Mike mentioned, there's a conference that we hold annually as well, primarily focusing on education on biomass heating in the Midwest region. We have a vision to basically propose all like 15% of thermal energy for the Midwest area come from renewable energies, and a focus on 10% of that coming from thermal biomass heating. To achieve that, we need to reduce some of the fossil fuel usage. A lot of propane and fuel oil are used in heating houses, schools, hospitals in the Midwest region. And those fossil fuel costs, aside from natural gas, can fluctuate greatly. And the cost of biomass fuel does not. And there's an abundance of biomass fuel in the region that we're not taking advantage of as much as we should be. So part of what this organization does is tries to provide education on how to properly heat residences, buildings, schools, things like that with biomass fuels. There's a lot of, in the forest products industry, a lot of biomass residues get left on the forest floors. A lot of businesses have waste product, wood and plant-based byproduct, whether it be from a sawmill operation with their sawdust or planer shavings, furniture factories that have a lot of residues. There's a lot of places and businesses that a lot of this byproduct goes to landfills often and could be reused for heating purposes. One other thing that we do with the heating systems, they can also be used for combined heat and power. And that would be essentially burning the biomass as fuel and using it not only for heat, but also for generating electricity. And there's many ways we can do that as well. So part of our outlook and what we try to accomplish creation of jobs in the Midwest. That would be anywhere from the forest products industry to provide some of these fuel sources and biomass, to transportation, transporting it from a job site to the end user. It could be for operators and training people to run the new biomass heating systems. Basically outreach and education is what we really concentrate on. We can help with feasibility studies. If there's any places considering doing a project like this, we can help with, there's some funding available, lots of federal and some state funding, even in the Midwest, for installation of equipment, for the feasibility on looking into whether this would be advantageous for your facility to take on. There are many biomass projects in the Midwest taking on more all the time. There's lots of feasibility studies being done in the Midwest region primarily on schools. There's a couple hospital projects being looked at in the Midwest. Lots of traction right now in the sawmill industry. The cost of lumber is going up substantially, so there's some money in that industry. And a lot of these mills are looking at what is the future for our organization, and they're looking at how to sustain and invest some of that money back into their operations. All right, so the next slide I had here, there's a lot on these, so sorry to get you to try to look through here, but so strategies and policies to achieve the vision that we have, increase awareness and recognition of the benefits from biomass thermal energy, develop clean energy policy that includes clean and efficient biomass thermal energy. So a lot of that's working with different, whether it's with states or tribes or federal even, to try to develop some policies to go in and utilize some of this biomass material for heating your operations. Grow demand for biomass-based thermal fuels and heating systems, as well as the combined heat and power that I mentioned. Support research, technology, and innovation. A lot of these biomass heating systems, they're not an old, smoky wood boiler. These are very advanced wood heating systems. They have advanced controls systems on them. They use, many of them use like an oxygen sensor, like what you'd have in a vehicle. That oxygen sensor can adjust the amount of wood-based fuel and air coming in for combustion to make sure that everything is burning clean all of the time. So even when you switch between some different types of biomass residues for heating, that this system is burning very clean, very efficiently. There's a lot of advanced emissions controls devices that are put on these to make sure that there is no extra contaminants going into the air when these systems are running. They're very clean and efficient. So that is part of the outreach. What we help train or help educate everybody on using these systems and the advantages of going to a biomass system. Some core objectives, like I said, the efficiency and affordability, sustainability, trying to get off of dependency on some of the fossil fuel usage, create jobs, said the clean emissions, and then the climate change mitigation also. Some effective policy frameworks, there's some financing available, tax incentives, there's several grants and loan programs available for purchase of the new equipment, as well as helping fund the actual fuel usage as well. So there's a lot of advantages to this. Some carbon policy fit pieces going on. There's a big federal program being looked at right now called the BTU Act. So that BTU Act passed this past year for residential use, which gives a tax advantage for using sustainable biomass energy. Kind of goes along with some of the regulations that are there for solar and wind already. That got added this past year for biomass. And we're working on getting that to be included for commercial and industrial use as well. I mentioned some of the sustainability and emissions and regulatory advancements also. So how to help achieve this vision, get involved. We have a website, it's heatingthemidwest.org. There's lots of good information on that website, how to get involved. We have monthly meetings for the organization. Mentioned we do the annual conference. There's several board members that are available anytime to help discuss, whether you have a facility that has a biomass system already, or looking at adding one to a facility or even to your home. We can help steer you in the right direction, how to get started, how to gain the knowledge needed to get going on, get started on it. So if anyone wants some more information, please feel free to reach out to me afterwards, or reach out to anybody on the Heating the Midwest website.
Oh, great. Thanks, Jeremy. Maybe I'll focus on you first. What kind of educational background are you looking for if your company is going to hire? Or what kind of people might you be looking for to achieve the vision that you laid out for us? How might the workforce development support your goals?
Right. So what we found is any biomass project really takes a kind of a local champion to get that to push forward, especially when it's dealing with a larger organization, whether it's a school board or a hospital board or something like that. That early education piece is very critical, and what we've seen is it usually takes one person on that board, or a member of the school, or a member of an organization in general, to want to basically help educate everybody else and help us bring the vision forward for biomass heating. And that one local champion person typically is the one that will work with the Heating the Midwest organization and manufacturers of biomass equipment, et cetera, and kind of be the middle person to help bring everybody get together and educate everybody on the benefits and I guess the benefits of going to biomass.
And there's certainly engineering experience, design experience, those kinds of that kind of background that would be necessary to, you know, it's a far cry from the solar industry as opposed to the biomass industry. I mean, there's similar but different needs in both industries.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. And, you know, us as an organization, the Heating the Midwest, we have, you know, several manufacturers involved. They have engineering teams, you know, that can help give information. There's, like I said, there's some federal grant programs and some feasibility studies. The teams that work on those are typically comprised of engineers that can look at all your data, how much renewable or how much fuel you're burning now, whether it's propane or another source, and see whether it would make sense to go to an alternative energy source.
Great, thank you. I have to say my only regret regarding this particular session is that we weren't able to nail down anybody early to represent Minnesota and Michigan a little bit better. That's on me. I know that MREA has, at least I believe, you still have a office in Minnesota, MREA office, or is that closed now? You're shaking your head.
Yeah, no, we did close that last year when our last employee there ended up taking a job in the private sector.
Oh, okay.
Well-
So, I guess prior to that, how are you reaching out to Minnesota population, I guess?
Well, Robert has something
That's
to say.
Robert.
Well, so here, I'm in the Twin Cities, and I'm on the Minnesota Governor's Workforce Development Board. I'm also on the
Yeah.
Ramsey County Workforce Innovation Board here in St. Paul, which is the Twin Cities. And I'm on the Midwest Renewable Energy Association Board of Directors, the MREA board.
Yeah.
Just spoke at a rally last Saturday with Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. And what we're pushing is 20 million union jobs with the new Green Deal. So, I mean, that's what we're trying to do here in Minnesota. And I'm also a tribal citizen of the Red Lake Nation. We're doing a lot of work around renewable. We're constructing a 17 megawatt project up there.
Robert, what are some of the, so I think MREA had some, listed some in Wisconsin, Iowa, and Michigan, I believe, or Illinois. Minnesota didn't seem to have a lot of representation from an educational standpoint. Who are some of the schools up there?
We have a project going in Minneapolis right now that's kind of a, I guess, a partnership between an organization called Renewable Energy Resources. Am I saying?
No, it's actually Renewable Energy Partners. It's a
Right,
State
yeah,
Training
right.
Center in
Yep.
North Minneapolis, and I was the one that helped facilitate that conversation and got that going with you guys.
That's awesome. Thank you.
And I also was the guy that also put together the Returning Citizens Initiative with the Department of Corrections.
Right. I was just going to say that one.
Mill River Correctional Facility.
So those are
So
two.
Mike, we're really trying to plug forward here in Minnesota. I also was the guy that, I also was the guy with Ralph Jacobson that we did the training out in North Dakota out at Standing Rock. And we trained those guys for a week and a half out there on their solar installations.
Yep.
Well,
And
I'm not demeaning any of the stuff you did, Robert. Just trying to make sure that we're all represented here. And Michigan, does anybody have any information on Michigan as far as
So I'm
education?
Mike, I'm
opportunities?
actually located in Michigan. So, you know, I have a manufacturing facility where we make biomass heating systems in the Upper Peninsula in Michigan. We're located in Bark River. You know, as far as our organization goes, you know, we're always looking for engineers, fabricators, whether it's welders, fabricators for our shop environment, electricians to do our controls, help with that, as well as, you know, marketing people. And we do everything. We draw all of our projects up with CAD systems. So CAD technicians. There's lots of opportunities here in Michigan.
Certainly, certainly. All right. Well, I hope MTERA is able to live up to those goals and to your needs as well, as far as providing that access to education and other opportunities.
Yeah. Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up. That is a very important point that you made about, the reach of our programs. And one important distinction to make there is that the map that Ellen showed shows our technical college or community college training partners. And that doesn't necessarily speak to like the scope of our trainings that we do outside of our partnership organizations. And, as Robert said, I mean, he's been hugely influential in getting more trainings in Minnesota, like up at the Willow River Correctional Facilities, but then with Renewable Energy Partners. And, but also we bring our solar training on the road every spring, and we do Minneapolis every year, a couple spots in Iowa, a couple spots in Illinois, Indiana we hit sometimes when we can. And like just this week, we performed 2 different trainings in Minnesota. One was for the city of St. Paul. I'm going to probably stick my foot in my mouth here, but 2 trainings just in the Twin Cities. And so I think maybe Alan's map speaks a little more to just like our scope of training with like partnerships with community colleges.
Well, and the Solar Corps was born 2 years ago, so it's a really new project. And we obviously started with 4 schools right here in Wisconsin because that's where we're based. And, I'm currently talking to 3 schools in Minnesota. So not only does the MREA have tons of training in Minnesota, the Solar Corps will eventually make its way there too. And so, I'm expecting that within this calendar year, we'll have at least 2, maybe 3 2-year colleges that join the Solar Corps itself, just from Minnesota.
Yeah, and Mike, I would also like to add to everyone that, we just gave from the MREA, we just gave a price basically to Rocky Boy, Montana, to the Rocky Boy tribe out there. So they were looking at our curriculum too at the MREA too. So that's one of the things that I know that we had talked about, me and Nick had talked about, is how we want to expand this out even more so, the influence of the MREA.
Very good. No, that's very good. I just want our participants to be aware of your organizations, and if there's a way, well, we've provided your contact information, and hopefully you'll get some phone calls after this conference is through. So thank you for that. Let me go to some of the Q&A, and some of which I think we did address already, but Brandy Toft, our chair, asked the question: what funding is available to hire staff in order for a tribe to start a renewable energy program? Currently no staff that can dedicate the time or resources with the tribe, I think she means. So is there, how might a tribe go about starting a program, a renewable energy program, whether it be at a local college or maybe within their governmental structure, tribal structure?
Yeah, I would just say Brandy. I know Brandy. Have Brandy. I would just definitely say that that I think going through MREA, that would be probably the way to go. Currently, right now, we're looking at getting a couple of instructors certified. Right now, the MREA instructors are really thin right now. I mean, they're all over the place. So Chris Schmidt can only go to so many places. And Chris Schmidt was my instructor, by the way, when I went through the academy. But we are currently looking at getting a few more guys that are going to be getting certified to be able to do the trainings in Minnesota specifically. And Brandy, I hope to get those guys down there at Leech Lake with you too. But I would definitely reach out to me. We're getting some tribes certified with Soul Smart, Solar Ready. So maybe we can get Leech Lake in there too, and we can get some training out to you guys too. You're right down the road from Red Lake, so couldn't see why this couldn't happen.
Excellent. Thank you. Let's see. Let's see. Anonymous attendee asks, for those involved with job training and placement, where are your graduates getting jobs? Are the jobs located on reservations?
Mike, can you please repeat that one more time?
Sure. For those involved with job training and placement, where are your graduates getting jobs? Are the jobs located on reservations?
Yes, absolutely. So what we're building the projects on the reservation, but you know, I plan on pulling some of those guys off because Solar Bear is just getting inundated with emails for projects, and my email box is just full of just leads. So I hope to start doing some of those this year, but actually next year specifically after we find out what the feds are going to come out with the incentives, because I know that they're going to change these incentive instructions. So I want to see what the incentives are going to look like for next year, and that's what I think is going to be happening. So definitely pulling some of these guys off the res and having them work on projects around the state.
Okay, and I suppose that question applies to any and all on the panel. So feel free to jump in on that one.
I think our technical college students that have gone through our internship program, most of them wind up working for the contractor that they did the internship with. And, you know, we've had very few students who have not had a job offer from their host contractor. If they didn't, it was because they were doing the internship while they were still in school. And most of those kids wound up staying part-time. But we've really had a very nice success rate in terms of interns who have started at the internship level and then gone on to full-time employment. And a couple of the students have had to choose, you know, a couple of them have had more than one offer from contractors.
Okay, great.
Well, I would like to chime in too and say that, you know, in Northeast Wisconsin, we have a pretty big population of mechanical heating, ventilation, and air conditioning providers. And that also means a lot of building control company hubs are around our area. So students are finding from the energy management program really great paying jobs with building automation controls and helping buildings save energy. And beyond that, students have gone on to work with the Wisconsin Focus on Energy program and doing consulting. And then, yeah, like Ellen said, our solar students, especially those who have those solar core internships, are landing jobs with solar installers in the state of Wisconsin.
Okay, thank you. Rebecca or Deborah?
I can just
add some.
I can add to that. So I think most of our students that come through our technical ed program, they also join apprenticeship programs. And most of those are like from the Green Bay, Appleton, Fox Valley area, where they'll connect them with some sort of employer, and they'll go wherever their contractors have those jobs. So it may be on the reservation, maybe off reservation, depending upon, I guess, where the work is.
Is it fair to say that employment opportunities in energy, specifically within tribal reservations, is a tough row to hoe at this point in time. I mean, energy is pretty a pretty broad-based industry, and there's moving around that needs to happen.
Well, you know, Mike, I just want to say too that, I mean, tribes need to start focusing in on this. I mean, when we talk about getting linemen trained up, that's a 5-year venture. You know what I mean? You got 5 years to become a lineman. You know, when you're talking about master electrician, you know, minimum 5 years. You know what I mean? So, I mean, we've got to start now. And I think with all the opportunities and funding coming down for infrastructure in tribal country, especially around energy deployment, now is the time. I always tell tribal nations that, you know, we're in the gaming business, which is $1 billion industry. We need to be in the energy business. That's $1 trillion business. We are in the wrong business, everybody. So that's what I want to encourage the tribes watching right now. We need to get in the energy game.
That seems to echo a lot of what Pilar Thomas had to say yesterday as well. So we really need to buckle down and you know, start fighting for tribal energy sovereignty going forward here. All right, thank you. Jerry Haber, are there any short-term classes to learn how to install solar in Wisconsin?
Yes, the MREA offers them. midwestrenew.org/training. They're there, and our PV Associates track through NABCEP is all online now, and so we have other options for people who don't want to do it that way. But the PV 101, 201, 202 series, which is the preparation for the NABCEP Associates exam, and the NABCEP Associates credential is all online, and it's right at that website. And then we offer all kinds of other things too, but that's the basic answer to that question.
Yeah, and just to piggyback on that, it's pretty nice. We've set it up with 2 different formats for people to go online, where one, we have everything online on demand, so you can go at your own pace and start whenever you want and finish as soon as is suitable for you. And then there's also the more structured class where you go through like a specific regiment, like a 1-week blocks to make it through the set amount of curriculum. And then we follow that up with hands-on labs at the end of it. So you could take the whole PV Associate, which is basically the entry level to the national certification or credential for solar installations. And so you can do that all virtually, but then we complement that with a 1-day hands-on lab where everybody can handle the components, build the whole system and turn the switch on and watch the energy being produced from the sun. It's a magical day. And now finally we're able to host those in person again. It was a pretty rough year last year, not being able to do hands-on interaction with students. But we've got a good COVID procedure in place where everybody can do it safely and comfortably. And I think we've executed probably over 5 lab classes this year already, and we got a few more to go. And we have one on the books here in central Wisconsin at the end of May. So if people did feel so inclined, they would be able to make it through the required prerequisite courses and make it to lab day at the second to last weekend in May if people felt like it.
No, and I attest to MREA as a educator as well. I think Nick, you and I probably attended a number of classes more than a decade ago, I think. So
more than a decade ago, yeah, back at the beginning of our solar journey.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. They've been doing it a long time. So and they're only getting better at it. So I encourage anybody that's interested in doing that work, please give MREA a call. But I also want to put a shout out to NWTC. I know Jenny, you in the energy tech program, and as well as John Hippensteel in the solar program have been keeping the momentum going as well. So if you want to speak to that a little bit.
Yes, thank you very much. I was kind of hesitant about the short-term qualification that Jerry had put into his question. Yeah, at the Tech College, we do have certificate programs, which are about like 13 credits of classes. But the way the classes are offered, kind of like a lot of colleges, you know, some of the classes you need to meet that certificate requirement are offered only in the fall. So if you add things up, you know, it usually will take about a year to complete everything. Many of the courses that we offer are online, at least for the general introduction to renewable energy. But then for the installation, you kind of saw in the pictures all of the projects that John has students do for the solar program on campus. And then we try to, you know, get our students with hands-on learning with projects. So, you know, those do require in-person training, but, you know, our students are getting scooped right up after they go through certificate or 2-year associate's degrees programs.
Rebecca, Deborah, you have anything to add as far as short-term training opportunities? Or even long-term training opportunities?
We do have the 1-year certificates and the programs that I mentioned earlier. We're developing micro-credentials at this time, which we hope to lead some of those service industries into also for some short-term education that will give people a boost up.
Excellent, excellent. So to all participants, attendees, please feel free to contact each of our panelists here off the conference and make those connections, please. Let's see, we have a few minutes left. I just want to probably do a round table here and just ask. I didn't prep this question, but what do you foresee to be the key educational need or opportunity facing us here in the next, we'll say 4 years? I'll start with Jared.
All right. The key thing, I mean, I think just basically general education on you know, whichever technologies we're looking at here, whether it's solar energy or thermal from biomass, whichever it is. You know, there's lots of great resources out there. Get out and you know, educate yourself on what's available and what will work best for you.
Robert?
Yeah, I would really focus in on policy. I mean, I want the politicians to enact some good legislation so we can create some good clean energy jobs. That's what I would focus in on right there. Is we need good policy from our politicians. You know, and because I'll tell you what, with all the money rushing out of oil right now into renewable energy, the financing is there. So come on, politicians, man, let's get rolling.
All right. I'll go left to right. Nick.
Yeah, that's great, Bob. I think policy is really important. If you know, big thing we're seeing here is just the training, the demand through the roof. You know, and bottlenecks. One of our big things we're looking at right now is even just expanding our instructor pool, being able to handle the inrush that's coming, the demand that's here, but that's just going to keep growing. Yeah, I'll leave the rest for you.
Great. Ellen?
You know, I think on top of everything that the other 3 people said, it has to be about the contractors taking students for hands-on experiences, because that is so key to people learning about this industry. And I sat on another panel for the University of Wisconsin earlier this year, and there was a question about a talent pipeline. And, you know, I thought about it later, and the real truth is that we're building that pipeline right now. You know, that's what's happening is we're not ready to put anything through the pipeline, we're building the pipeline. And, you know, after we talk about policy and about instructors and everything else, I think we have to talk about solar installers, contractors, companies, electrical houses, all being willing to give students hands-on experiences, because that's really how they learn. And, you know, we've had a lot of success with that, with the Solar Corps. And I think that just more of that is really going to be helpful.
Very good. Jenny.
Slow on the mute button. All right. I think that with this question, my first response is how buildings are going to need to interact with each other and the power grid. So as far as, you know, things to like look forward to and focus on, I would say smart control technologies to help this battery storage, solar, biomass, all of these different sources to pop online as they're available and being demanded.
Okay, thank you. Rebecca.
Yeah, I guess on top of what everyone else is saying, I would just like to add that I think one of the things for us is understanding how to prepare our Native students to have that vision that these jobs are available and that they can have a place in those positions. I think for us, you know, a lot of our students don't like to leave. And so how do we teach them and let them have these experiences so they feel comfortable leaving, maybe going off to work or living off reservation and taking these jobs?
Very good. Deborah, you have the last word.
So to build on top of all these great ideas, and specifically on Becky's, you know, allowing our students to be out there and, you know, understanding that you can be off the reservation for a portion of time to learn these things and then bring them home, bring them back to your community, which is going to help the community at large, just help the reservation to become more and more efficient and updated and moving forward, you know, and it's a prime case here, COVID, internet. We got a lot of trees. You know, I mean, you can see the Menominee forest from space. So that's how many trees we have. You know, so having to lay new lines and all the different things that need to be done, and how does that integrate with sustainability? And there's so many things to teach. So many things to teach. Sometimes it's overwhelming because there's so many places you want to help people see the vision in.
Very true. Very true. Well, I want to thank all of our panelists. They did a tremendous job. Please, round of applause for them, please. And I want to thank all the attendees for participating as well. You were a few minutes over, I think. So thank you for hanging around like you did. I thought a lot of great discussion. I hope each one of you are able to make a connection with at least one of our panelists going forward. And let's keep the momentum going. So this pretty much wraps up day 2 for our conference. Thank you again for participating in this in our virtual conference. We're learning a lot, and we still have 2 more days, so don't slip away, please. Day 3 will start same time tomorrow morning, 11 o'clock. And we'll be talking about climate change and a lot of MTERA work that we've been doing over the last several years. And then also I want to put another plug in for Tribal Solar Initiative on Friday. We'll be covering a number of topics regarding solar deployment. So we've got the educational work. We talked about the policy work. Now we're going to talk about the legislation or the laws, I guess, regulations that are slowing down some of that work. So please participate on Friday if you possibly can. And with that, I think we'll call it a day. Hopefully Jake or MJ doesn't have a message for me, so. I think we're good. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks,
Take
everyone.
care.
Take care.
Bye-bye.